Hello everyone, this is 9Life Ginger. If you're new to this channel and just clicked on this video, what I do is make sports and music related content. So if this sounds like something you're interested in, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and even share with your friends. I'm new to YouTube, so it means a lot to me if you do subscribe. Anyway, let's get into the video. I'm going to be covering each division in baseball before the season starts, and I'll give you my predictions for who will be the worst team in the division this year to the best. Today, I'm going to start off with the AL Central. If you didn't pay much attention to baseball last season, the divisional race didn't turn out to be even close. The Chicago White Sox won the division with 93 wins and won it by a whopping 13 games over the former Cleveland Indians, who will be now going by the Cleveland Guardians from this season forward. Chicago was the only good team in this division last season, where the rest of the teams were just average or straight up bad. The question is, will the division turn out to be the same this season, with no competition and the White Sox are able to steal a second division title in a row easily? Or will there be a lot of competition and the White Sox will potentially be dethroned this year as a new divisional winner emerges? Nobody knows for sure, but I will give you my best and non-biased take on who will win it this year. But first, let's start off with which team will finish dead last in the AL Central. That is the Kansas City Royals. The Royals last year finished one game above the Minnesota Twins for fourth place. They actually went into May last year with a 16-9 record, which was the best in the MLB, but after that it all spiraled downhill. They finished the year with a losing record of 74-88. Everything became problematic for the Royals after a first great month. They finished 24th in the league in scoring, 21st in pitching, but the relief pitching was above average, placing 12th in the league. This team struggles on both sides of the ball. This lineup the Kansas City Royals have lacks power, averaging slightly over one home run per 9 innings last year, 1.09, which is 21st in the league. Batting average actually wasn't that bad last year, placing in the top 10 at 9th. However, the runs scored doesn't add up when you compare it to the hits and batting average, which means this team stranded a lot of people on base. Even if they start to get a tendency of scoring more this year, I don't think it would help improve their record that much, due to the fact their starting pitching staff is pretty bad, averaging more than 4.6 runs per game. That staff lacks an ace as well. There's a good chance that Brad Keller is the ace next year, and his career ERA is 4.09 with a whip of 1.39. If that's potentially your best pitcher, I'm sorry, but you have no shot of winning the division in the 2022 season. Even if the offense is a top 5 offense, it's not happening. Record-wise, I don't believe this will be a 100-loss team next year. But they could lose 90 games, and they probably will. I wouldn't be shocked if they do. I'd say they will be a 68-94 team. The next team we have up who finished 5th place last year and will finish 4th place this year is the Minnesota Twins. The Minnesota Twins, this could go without saying, they had a very disappointing letdown of a season last year. Predicted to win their division last year, they finished 20 games out with a 73-89 record. You didn't have to watch much of the Twins last year to realize one of their biggest problems was the relief pitching, placing 20th last year in the league. They gave up a lot of home runs and runs in general. The season doesn't start for another 2 months or so maybe this will be fixed, but I'm going to go under the assumption that it won't be fixed, because they didn't sign anyone who's a game changer when it comes to relief pitching. Starting pitching wasn't any better and actually was significantly worse, giving up more than 5 runs per game with a 5.18 ERA. Like the Royals, this team doesn't really have an ace. the pitching needs to step up a bit in order for them to improve as a team. The lineup has done a better job being in the middle of the pack last year, and I expect them to be even better next year. A lineup that has Luis Uraz, Brian Buxton, Jorge Polanco, Josh Donaldson, and Miguel Sano won't be bad and could potentially squeeze into being a top 10 scoring offense next year. Don't get me wrong, this is a below average team, and if they want to get good in the future, they need to address their pitching in general. This lineup is able to hit a lot of home runs, but they aren't going to hit enough home runs to make up for the runs given up by the starting and relief pitchers. I believe this team improved slightly, and I think the Royals worsened slightly, which is why they're ranked 4th here. I can see the Minnesota Twins winning a few more games than last year. I think 76 and 86 would be a reasonable record for them. Still, overall, a below-average team. This next team I'm about to talk about finished 2nd place in the AL Central last year, and I have them dropping to the 3rd this year, and that's the Cleveland Guardians. The Cleveland Guardians are the first non-bad team I'm going to be talking about that is on this list. Last year, they were a very average team that ended the year with a record of 80 and 82. They ranked for the most part in the middle of the pack to slightly below when it came to offensive statistics such as runs scored, home runs hit, and hits. They just screamed average last year when it came to offensive statistics. People such as Jose Ramirez and Franmil Reyes really carried this team offensively last year. And I would not be surprised if both of them have 100 or more RBIs this year. If only one of them left the team, this would hurt the offense in a major way. Luckily for Guardians fans, they are sticking around for the 2022 season. Unlike the last two teams, this team does not lack to when it comes to having an ace or good starting pitching in general. Shane Bieber is their ace, and what a great career he has had to this point. If he can put up similar numbers to last year, the Guardians really will be cooking. Sorry if I butcher this name, but Cal Quantrill, too, had an amazing year last year. The Guardians don't have any issues related to their starting pitching, and I cannot remember last time they ever even did. They had a lot of injuries last year, but with a fully healthy starting rotation, I think they'll be in the top half of the league. Top 10 is possible as well, in my opinion. When it comes to relief pitching, I wouldn't say they are bad, but I wouldn't say they are great. I believe it's in a middle-of-the-pack relief pitching-wise. For me, if the Cleveland Guardians can stay mostly healthy, I have them winning more games than last year. Just because they dropped a place in the division compared to last year doesn't mean they are worse. It just means the team ahead of them improved decently. The Cleveland Guardians will be a winning team this year with a record of 85 and 77. They have a very slight chance of winning the division this season, but I believe everything would have to go right for them, and everything must go wrong for the two teams ahead of them. We are down to just two more teams in the AL Central. The next team I'm going to talk about that will finish 2nd place this year is the Detroit Tigers. The Tigers finished the 2021 season with a below-average record of 77 and 85. They noticeably played a lot better in the second half of the season than the first half. Statistically, last year, their offense ranked mostly below average among other teams. When it comes hitting for power, they only had 179 home runs, which ranks 24th in the league. However, adding Javier Baez during the offseason was a solid move and is really going to address the home run issue that they've been having. It definitely pushes them in the right direction. I don't believe the Tigers are done shopping, and I believe they'll add a starting pitcher or two in the spring. Their starting rotation seems to be the main problem of last year and heading into the 2022 season. Casey Mize is their number one pitcher. And if that's going to be their number one pitcher going into the 2022 season, I don't think their pitching depth is as good as the team above them in the division. He's not a bad pitcher. He's good. But on most teams that'll finish in first place this year in their division, he wouldn't be the ace of their team. During the offseason, the Tigers also added Eduardo Rodriguez, who will definitely help the Tigers with their starting pitching problem. If they could add one more good starting pitcher before the 2022 season starts, they would have had a really good offseason. It sounds like the Tigers are getting closer and closer to competing. However, I don't think they'll win the division title this year. Like I said with the Guardians, they have a very slim chance. A lot would have to go right for them, and a lot would have to go wrong with the team above them. I think the Tigers will finish, maybe this is a little generous, but I think the Tigers will finish 86 and 76. I had a really difficult time ranking the Tigers and Guardians. It could have gone either way for me. But I chose the team that has had a more successful offseason than the other, and that is the Tigers. The team that will finish first place in the AL Central, who also finished first place in the AL Central last year, is the Chicago White Sox. The White Sox had a crazy year last year. They had an injury-filled year, missing a lot of key players during large portions of the season, such as Eloy Jimenez, Luis Robert, Nick Madrigal, and Yasmani Grandal. Yet, they managed to finish the season somehow with 93 wins and won their first divisional title in 13 years. It just shows how talented and how much depth this team has. I believe the White Sox are one of the most complete teams in the MLB. They have an excellent starting rotation that includes Lucas Giolito, Lance Lynn, Dylan Cease, and Dallas Keuchel. I know Keuchel had an off year last season, but he has a tendency to bounce back. Michael Kopech will be a part of the rotation this season as well, who did great relief work for the 2022 season for the Chicago White Sox. Carlos Rodon will unfortunately most likely not be joining the team again in 2022. But I believe Kopech could be just as good or even better. The relief pitching for the White Sox is one of the best in the game. They have great arms in people such as Aaron Bummer, Ryan Tepera, Garrett Crochet, Craig Kimbrell, and now they have added Kendall Graveman to the mix. This team is just loaded when it comes relief pitching-wise. They also have the best closer in the game, Liam Hendricks. Their lineup is absolutely loaded as well with bats such as Tim Anderson, Yasmani Grandal, Eloy Jimenez, Luis Robert, and Jose Abreu. Also, you can't forget Gavin Sheets, who proved last year that he's going to hit a lot of bombs out of the ballpark. They have a great young core, and this team isn't going anywhere in the 2022 season. If their season is remotely healthier than the unlucky 2021 season they had with all their injuries, expect them to improve and win more games. I expect them to win their division by a big margin again, but not as big as last year. They could very well win 100 games or more, but I'm feeling that they'll win around 97 games for a record of 97 and 65. There you have it. The Chicago White Sox are 2022 AL Central winners. If you disagree on anything I have to say, feel free to comment below what you think. And I would love to have a conversation with you guys. If you're still sticking around at the end of this video, feel free to leave a like, share it with your friends, and hit that subscribe button. I'm really having fun creating these videos for you all who are watching. And I'm really excited for the baseball season to start in 2 months. Comment down below what division you would like for me to cover next. Whatever comment I see the most of, I will do that division. I think it's important that you guys all get to enjoy what I'm putting out there. So that's why I ask. Anyway, I hope you're all having a good day. New video, as always, should be up in a few days. Peace out, everyone.